Good morning, Titans. Happy Tuesday. So this is lecture section 1.6. This is the third day that we're in section 1.6. And the essential question we're going to answer at the end of today's lesson: how are expressions with negative exponents simplified? And you need to write your summary at the bottom, 1 to 2 sentences. And the answer to that essential question is, if your term has a negative exponent, you must move the term. So if the term is up in the top in the numerator and it has a negative exponent, then you move the term to the bottom and you change the exponent to a positive number. If the term has a negative exponent and it's in the denominator in the bottom, you just move it up to the top and change the exponent to positive. So please remember at the end of today's lecture to write your summary. Tonight's homework is page 53. 28 and 30, and then also 90, 92, and 94, because you're doing the evens. And make sure that you note here that you see the last slide in this presentation for the homework problems. So you don't even have to look in your textbook. You just have to go to the very last slide, and I have the homework problems. And then make sure you update your digital workbook. I did put in a slide for this, so we are right here on number 7. And then points will be applied for updated table of contents when your notes are graded. We haven't talked about how the notes are going to be graded yet, so just know that you have to update your table of contents. Moving on. Okay, so this is what we've been working on. These are all the rules that you should already have filled out. Okay, so on Thursday we left off at number 12. Today we're going to do number 13. And for this particular problem, this exponent of 3 has to go to each item inside. You can actually do this problem 2 different ways. I think I'll do 2 different ways. So this would be a negative 2 to the third and then x to the third, right? So how much is that value? What's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2? So this would produce a positive 4 times the last negative 2. So the answer here is negative 8. And then this would just come down, x to the third. You could do this problem another way. This is an option number 2. Just so you know. This problem says whatever's in the parentheses 3 times. So you can also think of this problem like this, because whatever's in the parentheses, you write 3 times. And we're in the same position now. It's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is still a negative 8. X times x times x is x to the third. So either way that you think about it, will work. Okay, moving on. Okay, so for this particular problem, the easiest way to do it is to take the exponent and send it to every item. Now remember, this b has a hidden 1. And then remember, this also goes to the bottom. So we're in the same boat. What's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 for the top, right? Oops, I did one too many. Hold on. I thought it was exactly the same way. It wasn't. My mistake. And back. Okay. So negative 2 times negative 2 would produce a positive 4. A to the third to the second. So you're asking yourself, a to the third to the second. So what happens here with these exponents? It's where you multiply. A to the 6, and this would be b squared. Touching thing. There we go. Sorry about that. And on the bottom, you have a to the 5th squared. That would be a to the 10th. Right? And then the square goes to the b on the bottom. And then now you just treat this problem piece by piece. So the 4 stays put. I know I'm not going to want that. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so a to the 6th over a to the 10th. What is the rule for that particular piece? So you write it once, and you subtract. So what is 6 minus 10? 6 take away 10 would give you a to the negative 4. Are you allowed to have negative exponents? No, it says right here, positive exponents. So remember, that's where you dive it down. So this would end up in the bottom. And then the next one is b squared over b squared. What are you supposed to do there? You're supposed to subtract. So what is anything to 0 equal to? 1. So we don't even need anything. It's like it cancels. B squared over B squared cancels. So here's our final answer. All right, moving on to the next one. Okay, we're going to distribute this again to every item in the parentheses. So remember, one thing you can think of is that this parenthesis indicates that you're multiplying the exponent. So one at a time here. So negative 6 to the negative 2. So doesn't that mean it needs to dive down? Because it is a negative exponent. It doesn't matter what the term is. It's all about the exponents. So this would have to dive down, and when you do, it would become positive. So this ends up in the denominator. We have a hidden 1 right here from here. Okay, the next one is c to the negative 2. And that also means it's going to dive down. And when you dive it down, it becomes a positive in the exponent. The next one is in the denominator. Oh, let's see here. And we need to apply a negative exponent to it. So you would multiply there. And what do you do with those 2 exponents? You multiply them. So this would become d to the 8 in the denominator. Okay. So a negative 6 to a negative 2. It would dive down. A c to a negative 2 would dive down. If you multiply here a d to a positive 8, it would stay put. The only thing left in the top is a hidden 1. There we go. So what is negative 6 squared? What's negative 6 times negative 6? Because you can advance that, right? What's negative 6 times negative 6? It's 36. C2D8. Okay, last one. So piece by piece, this one's a little easier because we don't have any negative exponents, but there is a hidden 1 on this exponent. So one piece at a time, 32 divided by 8, that's 4. And then x5 over x3, you raise it up, write the x once, and you subtract the exponent. So that's x squared. And the last one, y8 over y1. Write the y once, subtract the exponent, it's y to the 7. Okay, so advance the next slide. You'll see the homework, and also please write your summary. So please advance. Here's your homework. Make sure you add number 7 into your table of contents. Okay. It's the end of the recording. Go do your homework right now. It's only 5 problems. Thank you.